Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. I got in pretty early this morning, got in riding my motorcycle at about 1 o'clock, and you think that I'd be pretty dead tired, but I laid down and couldn't sleep for quite a while. But I eventually did get a little bit of sleep, and then the dogs were barking and woke me up. And I was trying to go back to sleep, and I just couldn't get back to sleep even though I knew I was tired. So I decided to turn on my TV and watch a little bit of TV. You know, sometimes you turn something on, if you're only like half interested, that background noise kind of helps you fall asleep. Well, you know, 2018, who the hell goes up and turns on your TV? So I grabbed the remote control, hit the button, nothing. You know, what's the first thing that you do, you know? You pat the remote control against your hand or whatever. Still doesn't work, so pop the back of the cover off of it to take a look at the batteries. And I'm sure if any of y'all have had a flashlight or something that sits around for a while, I don't use this TV in our bedroom all that often, so the remote hasn't been used in a while, but any electronics that you have that sit for a while, I'm sure you've seen this. And these batteries start leaking this acid. Well, that one's actually not too bad. But the remote in question here, of course, I pulled the batteries out and popped in some new ones, and that didn't work. So what we're going to have to do is get inside of here, because this acid has leaked inside of here, and something is not making a contact. So since today's a lazy day for me, I already fixed one of the items that was broken while I was gone for a couple days. My ice maker wasn't working, so I got that fixed. I'm gonna fix this remote control, and then I'm gonna lay down and just rest for the day, because I don't know why the hell I rode so far. Because I could, that's why, because I could. So let's get started on this remote control. Gonna need a Phillips screwdriver. I can see 3 screws, and maybe there's more, maybe there's not. I don't know. Sometimes you got some hidden ones you can't see. I put this towel down, tipped it over, so then when these screws come out, they don't go flying everywhere. I don't know if that's the wisest move, but that's what I do, so it must be the wisest move. Now, I've been taking things apart since I was a little kid. Now, I haven't always been able to get them back together, but usually stuff like this has got, let's see if you can see it here very easily. Plastic clips. I don't know how well you can see that there. We'll get it apart a little bit more, you'll be able to see it. So usually they have a couple of screws, and then you have to go along, and then the plastic will come apart. Now, my thoughts on taking things like this apart are, well, it already doesn't work, so if I break it worse, how can you break it worse? It already doesn't work. There we go. We're getting there. One more clip up front, I'm sure. There we go. That side. This side over here. And it looks like something on the front here. Don't know how this comes off. Maybe this whole front piece comes off. Sure, it looks like it does. how? But how? Definitely looks like it should peel off of here somehow. Oops, no, I've scratched it. Oh, look at that. 2 more screws. Sometimes there's some hidden ones. I didn't get all the way out yet. That one's all the way out. That one's all the way out. There we go. There's that. There's that. Alright, so you can see there's some crap already on here. So now we got to clean that up and see if we can't make it work. To remove corrosion from these electronics, I like to use vinegar. I've also heard that you can use lemon juice. Now these are acidic, so you can neutralize it with a little bit of water and baking soda afterwards. Now I've never tried the lemon juice. I've heard you can use it. Let's try it out. We'll just try it out and show if it works on this battery here. How's that sound? I brought some cotton swabs. Put a little bit on the cotton swab. You can make lemonade afterwards if we're thirsty. I'll put some on here. Let's see what happens. Focus. Focus, you son of a gun. Yeah, as you can see, it does look like it's doing something to it there. Or if you can see that. I need to give my camera some freaking ADHD medicine. It doesn't focus. There you go. So the lemon juice does work. That's interesting. I've never used it before. Let's try some on this here. So if you ever take one of these apart that's got 2 batteries on it, you also have this one over here that's usually not hooked up to a circuit board or something. And let's see if we can't pop that out. You're gonna want to make sure you clean that too. So this just pushes out. There you go. That's got some corrosion on it as well. So let's try the lemon juice on that. I got a really nice headlamp that a friend of mine gave me because it was all corroded like this. A backpacking type headlamp, camping style, and it was all covered in corrosion. I took it completely apart, and the corrosion had definitely caused some issues, but I basically soaked the whole thing in vinegar and then blew it off with my air compressor, and then soaked it with water and baking soda, and then I let it sit out in the sun. And when I put it together, it worked like a champ. I don't see anything else that appears to be an issue on this. We'll clean this contact up a little bit as well, though, just in case. Now, I've had sometimes on remote controls where buttons don't work. If you take the whole thing apart, you can clean this whole area here with alcohol and a cotton swab. This is where the buttons make contact. So if you have one where your volume button doesn't work, or the channel up or down doesn't work, one of those, you can do that and give it a shot anyway. It's worth a try. Try to clean all the plastic to where the corrosion was, because once the corrosion started, it will continue. All right, I'm gonna mix up some baking soda and water. So you put like a tablespoon of this into, I don't know, a cup or two of water. That's all you need. I mixed up just like a cup worth in this. I'll just get it all over this. It's just gonna kind of neutralize the acid that we used, the acidic lemon juice or vinegar, whatever you want to use, that we put on here that should take off the battery acid. Something like this remote control, I mean, honestly, worst case scenario, you could dip this whole thing in water. If you put it out in the sun and let it dry, chances are it would work. Of course, you can probably just buy a replacement remote control for a couple bucks. Now, on car batteries, you'll get a lot of acid on the terminals, and this baking soda and water will actually eat that acid up too. So you probably could just use baking soda and water to remove the battery acid, but I usually like to use another acid first to kill it. All right, so we've got the acid neutralized. Now we'll dry everything off, put it together, and see if it works. If it doesn't work, well, there's still cold beers in the fridge. Johnny 5, no disassemble. No disassemble, reassemble. All right. I don't know, we were talking about Short Circuit the other day, if you remember that movie. I think it's because that song came on from it. All right, so I put all the buttons back in here. We'll set that aside for now. Let's see. Didn't y'all watch how this thing came apart? I don't know if I remember. I think we'll figure it out though. This is about the only tricky part right here. You gotta line up where these battery contacts go. Then make the two halves meet again. Get all these little clicky parts back together. And, oh yeah, put these screws back in here. Remember I told you, sometimes you get some hidden screws on these things. You don't want to get too crazy with the hammers and the pry bars when you're taking stuff apart, especially if you don't have a manual, or if you're stubborn like me and you sometimes refuse to read it. All right, I'm gonna get all the screws in here. We'll put the batteries in and we'll go give her a shot, see if it works. I know these batteries work because they were in another remote control that works. So we'll put them in. Known good batteries. Let's go see what happens here. It works. It's alive. Awesome. All right, well, I am probably gonna put my feet up and watch TV for the rest of the day because I am beat from yesterday. So, thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.